and Bill's decorations were already down. But not George's.
Woo!
Ha! She's still got some life in her. Sort of. Oh, hey, I almost forgot the erector set. Ready to tackle the 1889 Paris exhibition? Sounds like a big project. What do you say we set it up in the attic where there's more room? Hang in there, George. I'm just getting it started for you. Then she's all yours.
It had been too cold to climb with Jumpy Squirrel, or run with Dotty Deer, or waddle with Dumpling Duck. George missed his animal friends. Since it was too cold for George to play outside, maybe his friends could come inside for a sleepover.
Oh, let's see here. Are these sleeping bags? Okay, so you want to have a sleepover with your friends? Sure, why not? Oh, and when you talk to Allie and Bill and whoever that other person is, see if one of them is good with erector sets.
If you're having a sleepover, you'll need snacks, fun party games, and cozy sleeping bags. Now all George needed were guests. Jumpy didn't like being startled. Whatever the monkey wanted, it had better be good. Who was Jumpy to say no to free nuts? Dotty wondered where Jumpy had gone. If it was good enough for the squirrel and the deer, Dumpling wanted in too. Maybe they'd like to play a game. Dumpling knew what to do with eggs. Fortunately, George had extra game pieces. Jumpy thought they were nuts. And Dotty thought the dice were sugar cubes. Maybe they should just go to bed. Was this their first sleepover? George would have to show them how sleeping bags worked. George and the man with the yellow hat had been invited by Mr. Quint to go ice fishing. George thought he should practice. The trouble was, the ice weren't biting.
Hey, George. What happened to all our... George, you do realize that ice fishing doesn't mean fishing for ice. Mr. Quint will show you. Better go pack a coat, hat, and mittens. It's gonna be cold up north. Mr. Quint, we're here.
Well, hello, you two. Come on in.
Thanks for the invitation. I have always wanted to try ice fishing.
Well, to get where the fish are, you have to drill a hole, George.
George doesn't believe that fish can live in the ice.
See down there? The fish are in the water. Under the ice. No, George. It takes an expert fisherman, like me, to catch them. They don't just jump up and say hello. Oh, my goodness! Maybe they do jump up and say hello.
It was George's old friends, Professors Einstein and Pizza.
Oh, my. You look a lot like our pal George. Why, it is George.
What brings you up here, fellas?
We're here on an important mission.
But we're having trouble with our sub. Someone spilled his juice box on the control panel.
Someone drives like this. Whee! Whee!
At any rate, it appears that we'll have to scrap the mission.
Wait a minute, Einstein. George is here. The mini-sub! George, how would you like to do some whale counting for us?
That sounds like yes to me.
The mission is saved!
Okay, George, in you go. You remember how to use all the controls? Ah!
I got one! I got a big one! Ooh.
Thanks, Mr. Quint.
George, this time of year, several species of whales are swimming to their winter homes.
We're trying to track them as they migrate. Your mission is to count the whales you see going by. Now, see the screen on your dashboard? That shows the different kinds of whales you might encounter. Beluga whales are white, bowhead whales are dark, and narwhals have long tusks.
Now, George, whales aren't fish. They come up to the surface of the water to breathe air.
Some of them also swim really deep, so you'll have to look up and down. When you see one of these whales, just touch the picture on the screen that matches it, and the computer will count it.
Okay, George. Here we go!
It was autumn in the country. Leaves were falling, and so were acorns. Jumpy had stashed away plenty for winter. But there was always room for more. Jumpy's acorn stash was gone. He had just hidden those nuts. Whoever had taken them couldn't have gone far. He just had to find someone eating. The monkey!
George, come back and finish lunch.
The monkey was eating Jumpy's nuts for lunch? Jumpy had to get his acorns back. He would watch that monkey like a hawk.
And his friend got into the car and went home. Good night, George. Oh, no. You can play with Jumpy tomorrow.
What was Jumpy so grumpy about? He liked nuts. Maybe if George gave him a nut, he'd feel better. Jumpy couldn't believe it. The monkey was stealing acorns right under his nose. Jumpy had usually saved more nuts than that by fall. Someone might have taken them. And Jumpy seemed to think that someone was George. If someone had taken those nuts, it was up to George to find out who. Could those be Jumpy's nuts?
Hiya, George. Want a piece of pie? Fresh out of the oven.
But how could Mrs. Rankins have gotten up Jumpy's tree? Not possible. There had been a storm last night. Maybe the wind blew so hard, the nuts rolled out of the tree. And Mrs. Rankins found them. George had to tell Jumpy. He would see it was all a big mistake. Jumpy could see there was a mistake, all right. His nuts were acorns. And those nuts were pecans. Jumpy was right. Mrs. Rankin's nuts were different. George loved visiting the Maldives. Mostly because of Uncle Hassan.
And now breathe calmly in and out.
Whose morning ritual included yoga. He made them traditional Maldivian food.
Not too spicy, I hope.
Just like your mom used to make.
And just when George thought it couldn't get any better, it did.
Snorkeling? Oh, that's a great idea.
And of course you can use my boat. You'll love it. The coral reef is the home of so many different kinds of fish. There are glassfish, parrotfish, butterfly fish, and surgeonfish.
Oh, George, you ready to go snorkeling?
Take a trip, see somewhere new. Learn about what others like to do. There's different words and different ways. At every turn, you'll be amazed. So head on out. There's so much to see. A million things to spark your curiosity. There's something there for every boy and girl. Let's learn about the wonders of the world. So head on out. There's so much to see. A million things to spark your curiosity. Yeah, there's something there for every boy and girl. Let's learn about the wonders of the world.
So, the simplest route is to go around this bit of land.
George wanted to bring his ball, but was there an extra seat?
Yes, George? Sure, you can put the ball in there. That seems easy enough. Ready to get going, George? All right, off we go.
Bye! Happy snorkeling! See you later! Huh. That person must be expecting a big emergency.
Here, George. I'll steer while you navigate. We want to keep going east. Keep the E pointed toward the front of the boat and make sure the red arrow is pointed toward the end. If the red arrow moves away from the end, let me know.
There's nothing a little monkey likes better than playing in the sand at the beach. except for finding seashells.
Looks like the ocean gave you a present, George. Oh, George, we better hurry. Our tour of the Marine Rehab Center starts in a few minutes.
George liked having his special shell, but he didn't want it to break.
Hello?
Well, hello.
Well, hello.
George didn't know he was going to see his friends, Professors Einstein and Pizza.
Thanks for inviting us to check out your marine lab.
Our pleasure. We love sharing our underwater world with visitors.
And we're hoping you'll help us clean the fish tanks later.
Wow, those are a lot of fish tanks.
George had never seen an animal with 8 arms before.
Why, that's Octavia the octopus.
And like all octopuses, she's very smart.
George could do a lot with 4 hands, but what could he do if he had 8? George noticed one of Octavia's arms was short.
Oh, she's fine. Before Octavia came to us, she must have lost one of her arms.
Luckily, she's an octopus, so it's growing back.
Oh, wait, what?
That's right. An octopus can regrow an arm.
Not only that, she can taste with her arms, too. Here, hold this out, George. She's tasting it with her arms, the way you taste with your tongue.
George wondered what it would be like to taste something with his arms.
Look, George. Seahorses.
The seahorses were beautiful. Their bright colors reminded George of his shell. George realized he'd put his seashell on the table earlier.
What's the matter, George? You're looking for your shell? Well, maybe you dropped it somewhere?
But George hadn't dropped it. He'd left it on the table. He was sure of that.
Well, it wouldn't be the first thing that's gone missing around here lately.
Oh, no. Just yesterday, I left my shoes in the lab, and one of them disappeared, too. Anyway, don't worry, George. There are lots of shells around here. We'll find you one that's just as nice.
But George wanted his shell, the one the ocean had given him. But where could it be? What was a snake doing in water? Maybe the snake took George's shell and then hid out in the fish tank.
Oh, he can't come out of the tank, George. That's an eel.
Eels are a kind of fish.
A long, skinny fish.
If the eel couldn't come out of the water, it couldn't have taken George's shell or Professor Einstein's shoe. So where was it?
Wow, scallops. See those?
Even scientists like Professor Einstein and Pizza appreciate having friends to help them.
Please, hurry. You may be our only hope.
Professor Pizza, we came as fast as we could.
Well, there's no time to waste.
Boy, I hope they need us to ride in their submarine.
Right this way, gentlemen.
You're here. Excellent. We need your unique style of help.
Well, we'll do what it takes. Sail into the eye of a hurricane in a submarine. Dive into an undersea volcano in a submarine.
This is more serious than any hurricane or volcano. We need you to help find Tony's birthday present.
What? What?
Tony spends his birthdays at sea. And 6 years ago today, I gave him a very nice birthday present.
Did not.
Well, I tried. We were 2,000 miles from where we are now. I invented a new undersea data recorder as a very nice gift. It records sounds, images, water quality, temperature, tidal shift, and movement when you do this. Then a whale bumped into the boat.
The gift was dragged away fast by the powerful current.
Current is moving water. The oceans are huge and they're always moving.
So, anyhow, I never got my birthday present.
Yes, but with your help, this story may have a happy ending.
On my birthday boat trip today, our equipment picked up a surprising sound from far below.
We believe the gift has ridden the current, recording ocean data for 6 whole years, and now it's here.
The data could reveal a lot about our oceans.
But we must find it fast. The battery only lasts 6 years. When the power runs out, which could be at any moment, it will go silent and be lost forever.
George understood they had no time to spare. They needed to act fast, and he was ready to help.
Let's get in the sub and find it. We get to ride in the sub, right?
No, that's why we called you.
You called us not to ride in the sub?
The sub's in the shop for a tune-up and periscope lube. We have to use this mini submersible. It has a microphone and camera, so we can hear and see undersea.
I just added those grabbers to grab the gift, but the controls take up too much room inside.
Oh, well, I think George is the only one who could fit in that small space.
Exactly. Want to rescue a lost birthday present in a mini-sub, George?
It didn't take long for George to learn to use the grabbers.
Remember, be a good little monkey in a submarine.
In the country, things tend to move at a slower pace. Except for the man with the yellow helmet. He was training for a triathlon race on Saturday, and George was helping.
How'd I do, George? What? The guys are still fixing the roof.
Roof repair was a country thing that happened slowly.
The hole is bigger than we thought. A lot of water got in.
Wow, that's a hole, all right.
We have to patch the hole, then fix the ceilings in the bedrooms.
Is that my bed?
Yeah, the upstairs will be downstairs while we fix the hole and the ceilings.
Oh, I wonder how George will be with sleeping in the living room. That's a pretty big change.
When it comes to change, monkeys bounce back quickly. But there are drawbacks to having your bedroom in your living room, especially after dark. In the dark, everything looked and sounded different. It made it hard for a monkey to sleep.
What's that? Well, what do you know? Bats! They must have come in through the hole in the roof. This way, guy! Oh! Oh! I wish I were a bat. Then I could see in the dark, too. They can't exactly see when it's this dark. They use their ears instead of eyes. Okay, out you go! That was exciting. You want a glass of milk to help us sleep? Well, bats screech to find out where they are. They can't see in the dark, so they have to use a different sense. You remember senses, George? We have 5 of them. Sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell. Right. Bats use their sense of sound to hear where they're going. See, their voices bounce off things, so they know where stuff is, even if they can't see it. You think you can sleep now, George?
The glass of milk worked like a charm for monkeys. The next day, the man looked really tired at his triathlon training.
Time me, George. Once I find the lake.
George hoped the man slept tonight. And he did. But George didn't. Now, what would help him fall asleep? Milk. That's what George needed. He didn't want to wake the man. He'd have to find his way to the kitchen in the dark. It was a big day at the museum. A newly discovered dinosaur skeleton was going to be unveiled to the world.
At 5 o'clock, these seats will be filled with the world's foremost scientists and dinosaur experts.
Your new dinosaur skeleton is going to make you famous.
No, the unveiling will be a huge embarrassment. I'm missing a bone.
As far as George could see, Professor Wiseman wasn't missing any bones. But the skeleton was.
Exactly. I promised them the oldest complete ankylosaurus, but I'm one bone short of a dinosaur.
Wasn't that one of the 4 bones we brought to you last week?
It should have been, but there were only 3 bones in this box. 1, 2, 3, and no 4. Are you sure you packed all 4 bones in that box?
Let me think. I remember the box was so full it wouldn't close tightly, and that Mr. Quint was visiting for the Fall Fish Fest.
Say, squid!
But I can't say for sure I had 4 bones in the box. Good idea, George. Mr. Quint may remember if I packed them all.
Ahoy! I'm not home to take your call. Must be out to sea. Leave a message at the sound of the foghorn.
He's not home. Of course. Mr. Quint sent us the photos he took of his trip to visit us. They might show how many bones I packed. We'll go check.
Hurry! The skeleton must be unveiled at 5 o'clock.
Now, where did I put those photos Quint sent us of his visit? Are you sure those are the ones Mr. Quint took? All this shows is the box wouldn't close because the bones didn't fit. The box was closed tightly when we reached the museum. That means there's less inside. Now, where did we lose a bone between here and the museum? Well, to find a lost thing, you should retrace the exact path you took when you lost it. I can't remember the exact path we took. Can you? I remember we made that delivery, but with all the sightseeing we did with Mr. Quint, well, it was really a hectic day.
George went through the photos Mr. Quint had taken of his trip to the city. He pulled out the ones he took while they delivered the box.
I get it. That's where we started, and that's where we finished. So if we put the rest in the order they happened, we can retrace our path and find that bone, hopefully. Come on, George. No time to play with Hunley. We started right here, so where do you think we went next? Okay, we left home, ate soup, bought fruit. I fell in the lake. We went to the museum. Let's retrace the path. First stop, Piscetti's.
Hey, Giorgio, I got a table for you guys right here.
Oh, we're not here to eat. We're looking for a dinosaur bone and hoped you could help us.
Oh, don't you have to dig to find those? Oh, they got experts who do that. Me, I'm just a chef.
No, we're looking for one we lost. Remember we were here last week and I had a big box?
Ah! No. Si certo! That picture helps me remember why I don't remember.
Monkeys love mornings. Especially mornings with waffles in them.
Morning.
Well, life is so much better now since you and I are friends. We laugh and play sometimes all day, yeah, the good times never end. When I'm down, you cheer me up, you take away the blues. So on this day, I wanna say something special just to you. Won't you be my Valentine? Valentine. My Valentine. My Valentine. No monkey shines. No monkey shines. 'Cause it's for real and true. Won't you be my Valentine? Valentine. My Valentine. My Valentine. No monkey shines. No monkey shines. 'Cause it's for real and true.
Best friends. Ooh. Ow. Yep. Never touch a hot waffle iron. Right. Always wait a while until it's cool. Oops. Almost forgot. Happy Valentine's Day, George. I love Valentine's Day. It's when we get to show all our friends how much we care about them.
George wanted to show the man how much he cared about him, too.
Don't worry about the dishes. I can take care of them.
George would make the man the best Valentine's Day card ever. It took longer than he thought, but he wanted his Valentine's card to be really special. But the man had said Valentine's Day was for showing all your friends that you cared about them. George had a lot of friends. And he wanted to make a card for every single one. But even using hands and feet, it took a long time. By the time he finished drawing cards for all his friends, it'd probably be summer again. He needed a faster way to make cards so he could surprise all his friends today. And then he realized he had stamps. Maybe there were some stamps in the drawer he could use to make a Valentine's card. He didn't have a single stamp that was right. He needed a heart. He could make his own heart stamp. He had rectangles, squares, circles, half circles, and triangles. How could he make a heart from those shapes? If he put a rectangle and a rectangle together, he got a square. Or a longer rectangle. That did not look like a heart. If he put a square and a square together, he got another rectangle. George and Marco were out taking a stroll when all of a sudden, an entire street was having a party. Was it the street's birthday?
Happy New Year! It's not New Year's. January 1st is New Year's.
Today is Chinese New Year's. I thought you might not be Chinese, though, because you were looking around like this. Welcome Welcome to Chinatown. I'm Lily.
I'm Marco, and this is George.
Gong Xi Fa Chai, Aunt Ling.
Happy New Year to you too, Lily. But I'm sorry to tell you, your cousins have been delayed, so they won't have time to practice.
Oh, no.
I'm sure you'll be fine. Meanwhile, your father would like you to fetch him some plum sauce from the storeroom.
No problem.
Oh, and here is something for good luck this year.
Wow. 谢谢.
Oh, what is that?
It's a Chinese tradition to give money to children on New Year's for good luck. Want to see a dragon? Yes! Follow me! We have fireworks today and a parade. And at the end of the parade, there's a dragon. Whoa! Hello, George. Hello, Marco. You look tasty. I used to just be in the middle, but this year I'm leading the whole dragon dance. It's a big honor. My mom and dad are very proud. I was supposed to practice today, but you heard about my cousins. Hey! Want to help me make a dance? Yeah. Marco, you go in the middle, and George, you go to the end. Now walk around and move it back and forth. Be like a dragon. Follow me. Oh no! I should have kept my eyes forward. Now I've ruined my great-grandfather's dragon. It can't be in the parade looking like that.
George had stained a few things before.
George? George? George?
But they always fixed them at the dry cleaners.
Dry cleaners? Hey, good thinking, George. They can get any stain out. We'll take the dragon there.
We can't. The parade is starting soon. We won't get back in time.
We'll just have to hurry. Come on, we can do it. We just have to be like a dragon.
And keep my eyes forward. Here's the plum sauce, Dad. I'm taking the dragon to the dry cleaners with Marco and George the monkey.
Okay, have fun. Taking the dragon to the dry cleaners with a monkey. Such a vivid imagination.
We've got to go around the tree. Whoa! You two need to stay behind me in a line.
Okay.
Being a dragon was harder than it looked.
Good staying behind, but you guys need to keep an even distance.
Even distance. Got it. Right, George?
Way to go, guys. Let's keep our spacing.
There's nothing a little monkey likes better than playing in the sand at the beach. Except for finding seashells.
Looks like the ocean gave you a present, George. Oh, George, we better hurry. Our tour of the Marine Rehab Center starts in a few minutes.
George liked having his special shell, but he didn't want it to break. George didn't know he was going to see his friends, Professors Einstein and Pizza.
Thanks for inviting us to check out your marine lab.
Our pleasure. We love sharing our underwater world with visitors.
And we're hoping you'll help us clean the fish tanks later.
Wow, those are a lot of fish tanks.
George had never seen an animal with 8 arms before.
Why, that's Octavia the octopus.
And like all octopuses, she's very smart.
George could do a lot with 4 hands, but what could he do if he had 8? George noticed one of Octavia's arms was short.
Oh, she's fine. Before Octavia came to us, she must have lost one of her arms.
Luckily, she's an octopus, so it's growing back.
Oh, wait, what?
That's right. An octopus can regrow an arm.
Not only that, she can taste with her arms, too. Here, hold this out, George. She's tasting it with her arms, the way you taste with your tongue.
George wondered what it would be like to taste something with his arms.
Look, George. Seahorses.
The seahorses were beautiful. Their bright colors reminded George of his shell. George realized he'd put his seashell on the table earlier.
What's the matter, George? You're looking for your shell? Well, maybe you dropped it somewhere?
But George hadn't dropped it. He'd left it on the table. He was sure of that.
Well, it wouldn't be the first thing that's gone missing around here lately.
Oh, no. Just yesterday, I left my shoes in the lab, and one of them disappeared, too. Anyway, don't worry, George. There are lots of shells around here. We'll find you one that's just as nice.
But George wanted his shell, the one the ocean had given him. But where could it be? What was a snake doing in water? Maybe the snake took George's shell and then hid out in the fish tank.
Oh, he can't come out of the tank, George. That's an eel.
Eels are a kind of fish.
A long, skinny fish.
If the eel couldn't come out of the water, it couldn't have taken George's shell or Professor Einstein's shoe. So where was it?
Wow! Scallops! See those?
It was the perfect afternoon for a trip. George and his friend were going someplace special. To see the stars. George knew the stars were really, really far away. He wanted to make sure he had everything he needed for the trip, including trail mix. If you're going into outer space, it's a good idea to bring a snack.
Ready, George? George, it's not that far to Mr. Griggs's house. You can take a toy and a snack, but let's leave the rest here, buddy, okay? Let's go see some stars. Here we are.
George wasn't sure how they were going to see stars in a house. Unless they were friends of Mr. Griggs.
See, George? There it is. It's something, all right. Mr. Griggs built his own observatory.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. And on the perfect night. Let's go on up.
George learned Mr. Griggs was an astronomer. He studied the moon and stars and all sorts of other things in space.
Oh, that's a picture of a supernova, an exploding star. Do you want to see how I got all these pictures?
Can't wait.
Right this way. Welcome to my observatory.
Amazing.
And this is the telescope I use to see the stars.
Wow.
You've come on the perfect night to see something astounding.
Isn't it exciting?
Oh, allow me to introduce Failsafe.
This is the first time I've ever met a monkey. Hello. And hello, tall person wearing yellow.
Hi.
Failsafe helps me control the telescope. He took all the pictures you just saw.
I can sense you're confused. It works like this. Say we want to look at the Crab Nebula. We point the telescope toward one teeny tiny area of the sky. You can't see it with your eyes, but our powerful telescope can. And I can snap a picture.
Tonight, we'll get a picture of a comet hitting the planet Mars.
What's a comet? Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's a giant, giant, giant chunk of ice and dust that flies through space like a snowball. As it nears the sun, some of the ice starts to melt and trails off. It looks like a big, shiny tail.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Sometimes comets collide with other objects in space, like the one that will hit Mars tonight.